Hello there, thanks a lot for coming by. PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard, and today I've got some early fun Jefferson airplane materials to show you, including 2 early concert pieces and 2 fun RCA Records promo mailings from the very early days. So I'm just going to whip through them here for you in chronological order. But first up is the star of the show, no doubt about it, the original advertising handbill for what airplane biographies call their first major concert, October 30th, 1965, in Berkeley, California, right across the bay from San Francisco. Now at this point they had played the Matrix Club a lot, of course, because Marty Balin of the Airplane co-founded that nightclub, and they had played the free-form Doctor Strange Family Dog Dance 2 weeks prior to this. That wasn't really a concert per se, where the people on stage and the audience just intermingled, but this event was their real coming out. Now the show was headlined by Larry Hankin of the Committee, political satirist and comedian, but it's really sort of a co-headline situation because the Airplane were the only musicians. So to advertise it, one of the pieces was this 8.5 by 11-inch flyer. It's a bit crude, but it's just about right for the time. And as you can see, it's also a bit wordy, but a lot of flyers and handbills are. Very heavy on text and light on pictures, but the words that are on here have a lot of interesting graphics and lots of different fonts being used. So in the upper left there, you do have a blurb on Larry Hankin from the San Francisco Chronicle, a little press reproduced. And in the upper right, in those black stripes, basic information, October 30th, kind of funny the way it doesn't say the day of the week, especially since it was a Saturday night. And then 8 p.m., Harmon Gym at UC Berkeley. Then you've got that big stenciled concert right in the middle of the piece. And in the lower center there, you've got that composite graphic of all 7 faces scheduled to perform on this evening, which I'll get to in more detail in a minute. And by the way, one of them didn't perform in that picture. And then, in the lower left corner, you've got that black box of information, pertinent, tickets $1, $1, can you believe it, at ASUC box office, Campus Records in Berkeley, the Matrix, of course, in San Francisco, and the Committee, I guess I should say, of course, also, in San Francisco. And then, in the lower right quadrant, this is the key piece for me on the handbill, very early and important newspaper story on the Airplane by San Francisco Chronicle columnist Ralph J. Gleason. Now the date this piece ran in the Chron was September 13th, 6 weeks earlier, and basically it was just a little, publicity piece written by Ralph, though, on this brand new group in town he felt was, bared watching. So there's his piece. He refers to Signe Anderson as, quote, girl singer Signe Tolley, because that was her maiden name and she hadn't married Jerry Anderson yet, the Matrix sound guy, so that's really early. And then Gleason also says, quote, I don't know who they will record for, but they will obviously record for someone. Boy, that's just really great. Okay, so then you've got this oddball photographic collage on there. Take a look at that. Now the big face is Larry Hankin of the Committee, and then you've got the 6 Airplane members pasted in around him haphazardly. Now from the left side over the arc and down to the right, you have original Airplane bassist Bob Harvey. Well, yep, he's the one who did not play on this night. He had been given his pink slip, and as a matter of fact, this very gig was the debut of Jack Cassidy on bass for the Airplane, so that's historic right there. So then after Harvey, you've got Jorma Kaukonen, Signe Anderson, of course, Marty Balin, and Paul Kantner. And then finally, by Hankin's ear, just a terrible representation of drummer Skip Spence. Just sort of a black blob. It just looks terrible. Well, that's because the faces were all clipped out of an early publicity photo of the group, which worked much better as one cohesive unit. And to see that picture it was clipped from, let's take a quick look at the poster for this very event, in much bigger size, but this is a photographic representation. And here it is. Yep, this is the poster, and so since it is a poster, not a handbill, there's no newspaper clippings or things like that on this poster. It'd be a lot less appropriate on an actual window poster. But there's the photograph, as you can see, that I was speaking of right in the middle, and you've got left to right, Jorma, disposed, Bob Harvey, Marty, Signe, Paul, and Skip. And see, their body language just makes a lot more sense in this context. But, you know, when you throw in this, and you look at the two side by side, you really realize how their pictures just look so willy-nilly on the handbill. It's pretty crazy. And also notice how much of the wording is identical on the two pieces. The font, not only is the wording the same, but the fonts used and so forth on the two pieces, such as the ticket locations, the prices, and the date and venue, obviously drawn from the same source and done by the same graphic artist. So quickly, here's a couple of more fun things from 1966, the next year. This big postcard from July 1966, as you can see, says, "The Jefferson what?" Well, it is a postcard mailed out by RCA Victor Records. Check out that 4 cents postage, just amazing. This thing's about 8.5 by 10.5 inches, and it came from the radio promo guy for RCA. "Watch," it says, with a nice little eyeballs in the W, "for the Jefferson Airplane's new LP featuring the hit single Come Up the Years. It's coming soon on RCA Victor. Don't miss this one," from Chris Christ, which is obliterated by tape there. The album would be released in 6 weeks from the mailing of this postcard, and the single, unfortunately, did not chart. And here's another mailer, this one from the Matrix Club, which again Marty Ballin co-owned, and this one is postmarked mid-October 1966. Look what's inside. This is the piece opened up, and as you can see it says, "Coming to the Matrix, 3138 Fillmore," with the phone number. First act on top is Mimi Farina, Joan Baez's sister, and the only alternative. But then, look at this. Jefferson Airplane, October 24 through 27, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday only. Now I believe this was the last time the airplane ever played the 100-seat coffeehouse Matrix, and what's amazing is that Grace Slick had joined them just 8 days earlier. So what a nice crossover of those two worlds, the superstar lead singer Grace in the tiny nightclub, tiny Matrix coffeehouse. Just an amazing juxtaposition. Those audience members were really lucky. And finally, here's another 1966 large promotional RCA postcard, and it says, "I see that Jefferson Airplane just took off with my best friend." Well, this thing is postmarked December 29th of 1966, and the writing there, the script writing as you can see, says, "Have you heard? Jefferson Airplane just took off with my best friend," with a single catalog number, and is already moving toward a big hit on all the national charts. And then also, don't miss this one before the promo guy signs off. Well, the record completely stiffed. But that's okay. The next two singles more than made up for it, as in Somebody to Love and White Rabbit. A lot of fun early Jefferson Airplane stuff here, pre-fame you could say. Thanks a lot for dropping by, and we'll see you again for something soon. Bye-bye.